responsible for all of that? Why can't China do it? Why can't the European Space Union do it? Why can't Russia do it? Why do we have to be the ones that do it? Recall wants to be emperor, and he'll get us off his rocket in 5 to 10 years.
Nice, very nice. No, that works for me. Well, we have a really great launch site. We already have a really pretty launch pad. Honestly, I don't know. I guess being an American and having that sort of America is the best mentality, and we are number one, and we are the superpower, and we are the coolest kid on the block. Of course we're going to do that, because who else would do that? Don't be silly.
Well, that is a little bit of the American ego, but we are one of the world leaders in no small part to our space program. But I'm also a big advocate of privatized space travel, so maybe we should stop funneling money to NASA and just put that in, well, in my humble opinion, this isn't supposed to be a podcast about that, but stop funneling money into the war on terror as well. I mean, we're spending trillions and trillions of dollars there. If we even spent 1/100th of 1% of that on space travel, we'd be set. So why this argument over space travel is occurring when we've got all of this money funneling over there is a little bit beyond me. Because take that money, funnel it back into education and space travel, and I mean, wow.
Well, and I like what November Cat is saying, that we need both. We need education and exploration, that they're equally as important. And I completely understand that. That makes sense to me. I think it would be a crime to not, educate the future of the world, the future of America, as well as, take away space exploration from them.
We're not taking away space. I mean, we just won't be the leaders in it anymore. People can still do space travel, but they'll have to go to China for that.
Yeah, but I guess I'm afraid that
this is what politicians like Obama and not Huckabee, but this is what certain politicians are saying. Let's lay back on our space program. We'll let the other guys take care of that.
I guess I am afraid that somewhere along the line, the United States media is going to be upset. They're going to be a little jealous. They're a little jaded already anyhow.
Well, I don't think it's the media. I think it's the Americans as a whole. We don't like to be one-upped by anyone.
Right. But I mean, I think that it won't be as exciting. It won't be as interesting. It won't be reported on nearly as much. And I guess...
Wait, are you saying us losing the space to...
Yeah. If America as a whole says, you know what, you're right. It's time for us to step down. We're going to take a break. We're too old, or whatever the case is. We're going to pass the baton on to somebody else. I think then not only are we sort of giving that up, but we're sort of losing hope. We're taking something away. I don't know. Does that make any sense?
A little bit. Starbucks said it's like taking hot dogs away from a baseball game.
Thank you. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. And to do that to little kids with great big eyes with lots of hope in them. I just can't do that. It's horrible. That's awful. I mean, what little kid didn't want to grow up and go to the moon?
But check out what Total said, which is America won't rush to do anything unless another country is going to try it. So we're not really incentivized to go to the moon or to Mars because no one else is willing to do it.
Right. Well, because somebody said earlier when Kennedy made the speech, we're talking about wars. Cold Wars.
Yeah, we're in the middle of yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that makes sense because we were butting heads kind of thing.
But are we really that short-sighted that the only time we can advance ourselves is when we're warring with someone else, or when we're afraid of someone else getting there? Can't we just do that? Okay, here's the idealistic person in me coming out saying, idealistically, why wouldn't we just continue space exploration just for the sake of saving the human race? I know, crazy thought.
All right, this is. Let's back up for a moment, and no one is about to like what I'm going to say. Most people have the view that the reason that America was founded was because there were some very small group of very brave people that put everything on the line, not knowing what was going to happen, and went out there and sailed the ocean blue.
Yep.
Or they said, screw this. We have to change this because we have no other options. If we don't change something, this is going to suck a whole lot. They were forced into it to a certain extent. like in the Cold War. Oh, crap! Oh no! What happens? Somebody else is going to get there first. We have to do something about this. We have to change this somehow. We revolutionized something accidentally.
So then, is the point that we are screwed at this point? Because we don't have an incentive to continue space travel past what we're doing right now.
Right.
We do not have incentive to start throwing gobs and gobs of money at NASA. So should we just say, you know what? That time is over. It's time for privatized space travel. And we talked with someone last week who, Tomorrow's Mars,
LiveOnMars.org?
Yeah, that's the one. Thank you. Who talked about populating Mars and developing colonies, and this is without NASA at all.
Right.
We don't need their help at all. So maybe we just say, you know what? NASA is no longer where we need to be. Now, I'm of the mentality, personally, that I think we need both. I think that sometimes just to push forward, you just need to throw piles of money at scientific research and give NASA the money and let them do the really far out there things and then privatize the other things.
Right.
I mean, I don't see why they can't both coexist, but I just don't think that NASA has enough money to continue onto the moon and then onto Mars in a timely fashion, and I don't think that enough people care today. I think that's the big problem. I don't think enough people care today. In fact, I think that so much I started this podcast.
Well, yeah. I mean,
that's why I started the podcast.
That's exactly why you started the podcast. Let me ask you this. What if NASA became some sort of United Nations...
A United Federation of Planets?
Kind of. Like we all start working together. More so than we are now. Because in some cases, ISS, we do have to work together, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I mean, isn't that what we're becoming, though, with the ISS? I mean, the ISS was essentially the Ronald Reagan space station. It never really got off the ground until it became the International Space Station.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that maybe we take some of our funding from other countries.
We don't... okay, but why would other countries want to...
Because we're the best and the coolest. Everybody knows it.
Yeah, but why would they want to beat... Don't they just want to beat us?
No, well, if we're working together, if everyone's working together, then nobody's beating anyone.
Yeah, but at the same time, politics are always involved.
That's stupid.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we're back into the idealistic world that I would like to live in, which is we'll just move forward because that's what we should do. But real life doesn't work that way. I know that. I don't like that, but, I know it. So, maybe there isn't a solution. Actually, the solution is we have to get as many people interested about space travel again. And we have to get them to understand why it's so important. We have to get away from the idea of we are spending so much money on this war on terror and we've got this huge deficit that we can't afford to do space travel. As Carrie Ann has said, that I've said before, we can't afford not to. If we do that, we are doomed. So we have to get off this planet. And you can go back all the way back to episode 1. Steve's saying, tell us why it's important. I'll just summarize. Episode 1 talks a lot about that, but we've got a supervolcano ready to go off underneath Yellowstone. We've got asteroids that can hit the planet. Steve, as you said earlier, we have overpopulation problems on our own planet. We have countless issues and countless things that space travel helps us with. Helps us feed our poor by figuring out how to grow crops in extremely hostile environments. I'm spitting. I'm so passionate.
I noticed.
It helps us figure out the global warming issue. Mm-hmm. It helps us figure out how to truly recycle everything. Because in space, you gotta recycle everything.
Everything.
Absolutely everything. So there are tons of advantages. Oh, I mean, yeah, exactly. Total. We've got earthquakes. We've got, there are so many different things, so many different ways that we could be just wiped off the planet just like that. And there are thousands and thousands of species that are extinct because Mother Nature just decided they didn't belong here anymore. The dinosaurs were here a lot longer than we've been, and they were just wiped off the face of the planet. And there's nothing today to stop that from happening again. The only thing we can do is get off of this planet. It's the only thing we can do. And even that's not enough, because when our star goes supernova, we need to be out of the solar system. We need to be far away. But baby steps, right? First we got to get off the planet before we can go that